Order the Phillipsburg City Council meeting for February 3rd, 2020. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comment tonight? Okay, let's take a look in your packets at the January 20th council minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion we approve the minutes from January 20th, 2020.
Second.
I'll second that.
Terry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Appropriation ordinance in your packet, beginning on page 5, number 1055-01-20B.
What was for Flanagan?
That was the portable radios I purchased this year for replacement for our budget.
And that Midwest truck, was that played for the pickup?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion we approve appropriation ordinance 1055-01-20B.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Tracy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Vicki, you got anything tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike?
Looks like the guys are doing a pretty nice job upstairs, and Brett had asked me earlier about where the trash truck, and I do have emails into them to see where that may be, but I haven't heard anything back from them. And I guess other than that, I really don't have much.
Okay. Terry?
I don't have anything tonight.
All right. Brett?
Okay, in your packet, there is refinancing information from Ransom Financial Group. We've had, I don't know, 2 or 3 or 4 approach us about wanting to refinance our bond. As you look through this, you can see that it tells you the cost of issuance, and then going back further, it gives you some debt schedules. If you look at the first one that shows, that has the yellow highlighting, it's conservative estimate of $123,900. And then on the back page is one that issued January 13th, and it was 246. It would save us 246,000 roughly. So, in order to do this, we have to, basically, the back page is the schedule of what we need to do and what they will do on what dates. It says tentative financing schedule. It was the finance committee is in favor of doing this. So we have dealt with Ransom for years.
Long time.
There was other people, and they would probably be fine as well, but we're just a little more comfortable with Ransom than the others. So I would make a motion that we approve the mayor and Tiffany to pursue refinancing this bond.
I would second that as part of the financial committee.
Yeah, these are ones that come due in October. So this is why the schedule's up where it's at, but it's tremendous savings. It's about $250,000 based on rates back on January 13th that they did with Harper, so it's...
We see no downside.
And that takes into account too that their fee schedule on doing the bonds, because that was $30-some thousand by the time you redo the bonds, everybody's fees and sales and all of this. It was 30-some thousand, and that 246 is above and beyond
This
that.
is on,
Yeah.
Did we say this was on the pool?
This is on the pool.
This is
yeah.
on
Yeah.
the pool.
Yes.
Yeah, Public
Yeah.
Building
This is-
Commission,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
He moved, he seconded.
you did second, I'm sorry.
You're still celebrating.
There you go. I'm still in the fourth quarter there.
Oh, boy.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. I'll wake up now. Anything else, Brett?
Nope, that's it.
Pete?
No, sir.
I ain't gonna say anything about the Chiefs, huh? Okay.
I mean, it speaks for itself. You
Okay.
don't have to.
Tracy? Okay. Scott?
Yes, council and mayor. Little bit of history here. With the change of the law that happened by the state of Kansas, back in 15 or 16, I can't remember the exact date. At that time, if you remember, we'd have elections in April and you'd take office, I believe, in May. Well, legislature came in and decided to do away with the spring elections and make everything in the fall. At that time, of course, we followed the protocol and actually had a charter ordinance, and we amended our ordinance controlling that section, which is 6-101 of the code. Since then, especially the new council members, it's been under discussion, I don't know, for probably a couple of months before you guys took office about speeding up the time between the election and actually taking office. And so there had been heavy discussions about having it right as soon as possible in the first meeting of December. So that's what I've drafted here pursuant to the Senate Bill 105, which actually allows what we call a zone area when your elected officials can take office. That being a start date after December 1, following certification of the election, and no later than the second Monday in January. Well, at the time we originally did this, we didn't take any contrary action, but it does allow that you can have it sooner. And so that's what the purpose of the ordinance is to move that election up, well, not the election up, but the time of taking office to the first meeting in December. Now, further on that Senate Bill 105, it allows that the date of taking office, the start date, be set by resolution. So it's somewhat more cumbersome than the way it used to be. But I suppose in the future, if you would ever change your date again, it would be much easier. At that time, all you would have to do then is make a new resolution and repeal the proposed resolution I have here. So with that, I'd ask the council to review the ordinance. And if it meets with your approval, I'd ask for a motion and a second. And then shortly thereafter, affirming the definite time for future elections, namely after 2021, but following the previous ordinance language, it always talked about two separate elections, so I tried to stay parallel with that. But in essence, every election hereafter, the new officers will take office on the first meeting in December of that year. And so that's what this proposed resolution is for. If there's any questions, I would so.
What's the resolution number?
Nope, the ordinance has got to go first.
What ordinance numbers are they?
It's 1424.
Ordinance over.
They're showing two ordinances here.
Nope. Ordinance, resolution.
No, I'm going by what this is, Doug.
No, the one's for the newspaper.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 1431.
1424.
I'd so move to authorize the mayor to sign ordinance 1424.
Second.
I'll second that.
Terry seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
What's the resolution numbers?
280.
I'd so move to have the mayor sign resolution number 280.
I second.
Tracy seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And that concludes what I had for the council this evening.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, in your packet, on 25 is my proposed committee appointments. And I would like to have consensus of agreement upon those. If anybody has any problems with the committees they're on. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I'm fine.
Everybody all right with them? All right. I would like to comment on the downtown area. They cleaned it on Friday night, and let me tell you, it was clean. Saturday and Sunday looked great with the good weather we had. Cleaned up a lot of the mud. It still looks good today. There's a few farm trucks that have come in and dumped some mud, but overall, downtown's looking really good, which will help with their drainage as well. I think that's all I had for tonight. Tim?
Evening. All right, so I need a couple things from you. One, we got Rural Water Conference coming up March 23rd through 26th. We will be sending 4 individuals to that. Is there any council members that would like to come with us? They have some fantastic classes that'll teach you some very good things. Mr. James has been there before. But if any of you are interested, please let me know and we'll get you registered and get things set up for you.
I didn't go for years, and when I did, that was an eye-opener, to be real truthful, for what goes on through utilities and things that way. I mean, to take several classes and go through things, it's hell of an education, to be truthful.
Also in your packet, I believe it's page 26, if I recall. There is a delegate, 27, excuse me. Designate a voting delegate for the Kansas Rural Water meeting. You will need to appoint someone to be your voting delegate for that meeting.
I make a motion that we have Tim do it.
Wait a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're it.
Thank you, sir. All right, maintenance crews have been busy. We've been working on trying to control some of the potholes that start showing up. We've also been working on a couple of the different roads that are some of our gravel roads, trying to get them cleaned up. And we will continue to do that over the next few weeks. Our sludge press out at the wastewater plant, it started giving us problems a week and a half ago, went down. We spent approximately $10,000 on repairs trying to get it back up and running. I anticipate it'll be back up tomorrow. It is approximately 15 years old, and the bearings and shafts are just getting wore out, so we end up replacing all of that here in the last week. So that
Are we doing the work?
we are doing all the work, yes. This is all being done by staff. As the mayor said, we swept downtown last part of last week, and the guys have been extremely busy upstairs. Give you some updates on some projects. The AMR project, which is our new advanced meters. The internet's been installed to the water tower. The base station will be installed hopefully Thursday or Friday, weather permitting. 90% of all the meters south of State Street have been replaced. So that's a pretty good chunk of them already. We looking at this point completion probably at the very last part, probably March 1st. I would anticipate a little earlier than that, but that gives them some time in case weather jumps out at us. I have a loan agreement for the Kansas Department of Health and Environment that we received last week. This is the loan agreement that I've been anxiously awaiting for our meter project. It sets the terms of that loan. That loan is $667,674. That interest rate is at 1.65% for a term of 20 years with no prepayment penalty. I feel pretty good about that interest rate on there. This is something we've been talking about for quite some time, and now that we have the agreement, I would like a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign that agreement.
Is the agreement in the package?
I don't believe it is. It's a fairly healthy agreement,
Okay.
so we did not make it in there.
One of your terms on 1 point what?
1.65%.
And that we can, no penalty for early payoff.
No penalty for early payment.
Okay,
So-
And for the new council members, we figured that it would pay for itself in what? Around
5.2
7?
years.
How much?
5.2 years, this project pays for itself, just out of revenue it generates by itself and our loss, our reduction in water loss.
And
So,
labor
Manpower.
savings,
pardon?
labor savings on reading them.
The labor savings was dramatic. You know, you look at 8 guys, 1 day a month, all doing that, and then the second day, rereads. It dramatically reduces the labor it takes to do this. Plus, it allows us to be more productive where we need to be. It also adds a lot of safeguards to the customers so that we can notify them very quickly if there's a leak at their residence instead of only seeing that meter once a month. So, it's a wonderful project and it's gonna be very beneficial to the city.
I so moved, we had the mayor sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Last week on, I believe it was Thursday, I received notification that the city of Phillipsburg had been granted an airport grant in the amount of $332,500 for the design of the runway extension. This is a project we've been talking about for the last 6-7 months, and our match on that is going to be $33,250. I will begin working with our new design firm to put a proposal together that we can have back for contracts here within probably the next month. I just wanted to let you know that we had received that grant. That's great news for us. I also have in here, and I believe this is not in the packet as well because it's fairly lengthy, is a supplemental agreement for phase 1 of the State Street project. We had to amend the agreement for construction engineering services to add an extra 6 days to it, to an error in the KDOT's contract. There was some verbiage in there about how many days it was. It didn't coincide with the construction contract, so it's just a simple paperwork fix. So with that, I'd like permission for the mayor to sign that agreement.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
In your packet, there is a report generated by the Federal Highway Association. This is in a complaint that was filed back in, I believe, 2013 by a resident complaining about a sidewalk. As the report indicates, it was investigated. We met with them, and we felt that it was resolved, and then it was brought back to our attention here within the last 4 months. We went through the investigative process with them, and what the outcome is any sidewalk inside the city limits, we're required by state statute to make sure that it meets the ADA criteria. What that will mean for us is we have an ordinance in place that says that the property owner owns the sidewalk and it's their responsibility to maintain that sidewalk. However, by state statute, it puts the pressure back on the city and says, if you don't take care of your sidewalk, we're supposed to force you. And if we don't, that complaint can come back and be a problem for the city. What they are going to force us to do is to create a plan of attack that identifies all areas in town that either does not have sidewalk or the sidewalk does not meet current regulations, including sidewalk ramps and things like that. We will have to put a plan in place on how we're going to correct it. Now they understand that plan's dependent on funding requirements, of course. But the first step is getting the plan in place where they can identify our biggest needs and start working on finding funds available to correct those problems. They understand that, I mean, if you put the numbers to it, we got about $1 million worth of ramps, just ramps to put in town to comply. No city our size or even equivalent, a little bigger, can afford just to spend that kind of money just on sidewalks to put everything in compliance. So they understand that it's going to take us some time and it's going to take some resources before we can ever comply with this statute. But we have to at least start moving forward to show that we're making an effort. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. City office renovations. They've been working very hard upstairs, and you can still hear one of them rolling around upstairs at the moment. I anticipate putting texture and paint on the wall later this week in some of the exterior offices. I would anticipate seeing carpet in those next week. We're getting closer. We're chipping along pretty good. Things are starting to really come together and starting to look nice, and I think you'll see here by the end of the month it'll be wrapped up pretty well 100%. So a couple of things we need to get some things working on. I indicated to you in your last meeting that our phone system was working and the voicemail was working. It is not working yet, so we are still working to get that corrected. We will also work on getting our wireless set up where it works a little better throughout the facility. Right now it is not working down the basement, so we will work on getting that stuff corrected hopefully before your next meeting. February 24th, I will be hosting a meeting down here. It's for the Kansas Water Association Vision and RAC meeting. This is part of the Governor's Water Authority. It does sound like there's a good possibility the Lieutenant Governor will be joining me for that meeting. So we will make a very large push to make sure the offices upstairs are completed and everything looks great at the building when they show up. Community building, just give you a heads up. We've been having some electrical issues over there for quite some time. I've asked one of our local contractors to go in and provide some guidance on how we can fix it and what it'll cost. I will be bringing that information to the facility committee here in the coming week so that we can start working on which projects on the facility side we may be pulling the reins back on and putting this one in, because we're starting to lose power in that building in places where it's necessary to have. So we're going to have to make some repairs over there. It has been requested by the Sheriff's Office that I relocate the 2 electric speed signs. They would like us to relocate them into the 20-mile-an-hour zones and record the data on them for a month or so and let them see how those are going. Do you have any objections to that?
No. That's what we bought them for.
I would like to get into the process of having a report, though, for the council, at least on a monthly basis.
Monthly basis?
On the data that's coming out of those, so we make sure whatever you're providing them.
Okay. It was indicated today that we have a leak at the wastewater plant roof, so I'm going to be working on trying to get something corrected out. It's got one area that's starting to leak and show some damage, so I'll be working on that. I'll also be bringing that information to the facility committee. The facilities committee, I would like to set up a meeting with you later this week, so please put some dates and times together where you are available, and we'll get that meeting set. As in the last meeting, Mr. James asked me about the flags. Those flags are set to be delivered tomorrow, so we should have those ready to go for you. Summer help. I'd like to go ahead and get summer help advertised. It is always our intention to try to have those advertised and all interviews done during spring break so kids don't have to be out of school or sports for us to get through that process.
That for Public Works as well as pool?
That's correct.
Good.
So with your permission, we'd like to go ahead and get those out to the public and get that stuff moving. Planning Commission will meet February 19th, and at the end of your meeting, I'd like to have a short 10-minute executive session. And that's all I have for you, unless you have questions for me. Thank you.
along the lines of summer hire, I've received, I think, 4 or 5 resumes on the Kansas State Dane G. Hansen program. So that would probably, it's kind of the walking trail thing, so Park and Recs, if you're interested in sitting in on those interviews, let me know. I'll set them up to where you can be available at that time as well. We usually do them by Zoom,
Oh, yeah.
so. Okay. Tiffany.
I just wanted to give you an update on our Cassell softball program. We've been working on just ironing out some details, and today they took another download of our data, our backup, our billing that just went out, and they're going to balance it again, and then hopefully we'll be moving into using the program live within the next week or two. And then I'd like to see if ask your permission to send Brandy to the Municipal Court Conference. It's coming up in Wichita, March 5th and 6th. There's no registration fee for that. Be okay if I send her to that.
Do we have consensus?
Okay. And then also a municipal court case for Gordon Wood. He was deceased on January 4th, and the judge asked that those outstanding balances in the case be dismissed with your permission. I'd like to do that as well.
Make a motion, we dismiss.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then I guess we're talking about summer help as well. I don't know if it's okay if I have another one this summer for office help to continue with the shredding and scanning of our files.
Can we get that finished this summer?
We'll see. I don't know.
Well, I could have a fire.
Come on, that's on that building over that way. Come on now. Fire tornado.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and that's all I had.
Can you make sure the committee appointments are updated out on the webpage?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, your CD reports are in there. As you can see, our interest rates continue. Wait, Tim, you have one more?
I forgot to ask. I'd also like permission to close the office Thursday and Friday for us to be able to do some texturing and painting upstairs. It's not going to be very feasible for customers to be in there. We will leave staff here. We will probably have the girls downstairs doing stuff, but the server might be down, as well as some of the operations upstairs. So with your permission, we'd like to be able to do that so that we can continue that work upstairs.
The windows,
The
drive
windows
up, not,
open.
Huh?
Windows open.
We'll try to leave somebody upstairs to make sure that that's still usable. But I'd really like not to have customers coming in and
yeah.
have those fumes and problems there.
We need to get that in
It'll be out immediately.
it need to be on Facebook, probably I'll throw it in the paper too.
Is that acceptable to you?
What about our, yeah, I never remember the name of it. Put it out on the,
Oh, my fields count, what?
I know, the service where we have alerts and
Oh,
stuff.
the ADT?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, for
there.
sure, for sure.
I never can remember that, but yeah.
All services will still be available for customers that just.
Yeah, it's just the entrance into the
Yeah.
building,
Is that okay with you?
yes.
Thank you.
I think, oh, yeah, I want to remind everybody, in these magazines that you have, there are a lot of things going on at the state level that's going to impact us. I want you to just beware and keep up to date on it, because there's some stuff in there on property appraisals and stuff that's going to have an impact if they pass and what they pass. So it's interesting read. So. Okay. You going to read that?
Yeah. I move the city council recess in an executive session to discuss an individual employee's performance pursuant to the non-elected personnel matter exemption KSA 754319B1 with the council and Tim.
You want the mayor?
and the mayor, I guess you can stay. In attendance with the opening meeting to resume in the city council chamber at 20 minutes till.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Are we gonna go in there? Okay.